Is this thing on? Oh. Attention homeowners, attention homeowners. Is this thing on? No, it's not on, it's a prop. Hey, I wanted to make a video. A lot of people who are homeowners have got this thing in the mail. It says notice of appraised value. And what that is the county has assessed your house and they've given you a value. This is what your taxes are based off of. And a lot of times people don't realize when their payments are going up, there's a process that allows you to protest your taxes, that you can go in and dispute those and get that numbers low. Now, some people don't dispute their taxes because they think there's a direct correlation between what shows up on this number and what your house will sell for, and there's not. It's a good guess. Consumers a lot of times will use this tool to kind of figure out ballpark, but there's no direct correlation to what your house will sell for. I've seen it both ways, where this number is higher and the house sell for lower, and this number be lower and the house sell for higher. But the important thing is you want to get your number as low as possible to make sure that you're keeping your mortgage payments low. How do you do that? There's a process that you can actually go through and protest your taxes. And so this one is for Bexar County. And with Bexar County, there's a couple options for filing your protests. Filing your taxes, filing your protest of taxes. You can do an informal meeting, appraisal review board. You can drop it off in person. There's a few different ways that you can get the process started. But in the same packet where your notice of appraisal value came in, there is a form that actually you can fill out, and the back of it's got some red writing, and that's the one that you'll actually go through and you'll fill out. There's step by step, and I can attach a little document that'll show how to go through and how to fill out that form. But then you're gonna wanna go through and dispute your taxes with the county's values. You wanna try and get that number as low as possible. If there's any items in your property that are in disrepair, you want to take as many pictures of those things so that you can have those as evidence and actually be able to present that in a file that actually shows your property is not as good as the ones that they're comparing your property to. In this process, you're going to file and officially say, I do not believe that your estimate of my house is correct. Then in the process, you're not going to give them too much information up front. If you're going to wait and say, let me see what you got first. Give me your information. Please check the box that says, I want to request evidence. And so that they'll go through and they'll send you what they're looking at. Then you can go back and on your side of it and say, let me go back and look at those particular properties that you guys are using. And let me tell you why mine is not quite as good as those. Now, this process, a lot of times people feel like the hassle and the rigmarole of something that I don't know. I don't want to make the time for it. It makes me uncomfortable. There are companies, and you probably also got a bunch of letters from companies that are actually sending, that will say, we'll dispute it for you. But it is simple enough that you can do it yourself. Even I can do it. And I'm terrible with sitting down and doing stuff like that. But let me tell you about some of the great experiences that I have had. Honestly, it has become a lot easier than I probably should admit to. When I'm protesting for my properties, I go through the process, I'll dispute, I'll prepare information. But one of the things that I found is at the end of the day, I'm dealing with somebody on the other side that's just a person. And I try to make the connection with that person. And a lot of times, and this is the reason why I think that it's worth your time to sit down and do it, a lot of times that person will help me out. You know, I'll go through, and they're not, you know, a lot of people don't love their jobs. And so we can do whatever you can with that information. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. But I definitely think that it will be worth your time to sit down and protest your taxes, especially if you own multiple properties, because I know that it is very important for us to sit down and save and figure out how to save as much as possible. So if you need some help with that, we can get you connected and point you in the right direction. I'm not going to say that I'm going to guarantee that I will sit down and do the process for you. If you know me, I'm more like, here's how to do it. I will help you do it. But I can definitely be a resource and make sure that you have the information. If there's anything I can help with, please don't hesitate. But I think it's definitely something that you should do. And I'm going to attach with this, or somewhere, I'm going to put a form that we created that kind of goes step by step, parallel with this form on how to fill out the form. But while you're doing that, if you haven't made sure that you have your homestead exemption, please make sure you have your homestead exemption on your primary residence, because that's another way for you to save money. You know, I'm all about saving money. Sometimes people have gone through the process and they have a little issues. It is a good idea. If you can't get through it, you need to have your unexpired driver's license with your current address on there. And actually, included in that package, there's actually a description of exemptions. And so in that description of exemption, it tells you exactly what exemptions you can claim, because you may not realize that there's additional benefits that you may qualify for. 100% disabled veterans, 65 or older, survivor of a deceased veteran. There's a lot of different home exemptions that you may qualify for, so I would definitely look through them. I think most people look at it, they see the number, they discard this whole stack. It's just one of those things that I just have seen so many people, and we're trying to figure out how to save the money. So I just wanted to get on a video because this is an opportunity to make sure, and the window is closing. I think you may have different dates, but for starting the process, you don't have to finish the process, but I believe on the one that I have, it says you have to put the request in by May 15th. So that's coming up here pretty quickly. So I would definitely start that process. Yeah. Typical deadline for filing a notice of protest is midnight, May 15th. So you may have different dates. I would definitely look at your form to see what yours is. Let me know how I can help. I'm Anthony, the Realtor, and I am your resource for helping you save and make more money.